right? In this class, I am going to explain another method to find initially basic feasible solution of a transportation problem, that is least cost method or matrix minima method. So least cost method or matrix minima method. So this is another method to find initial basic feasible solution of a transportation problem. Already I have discussed one method, that is Vogel's approximation method to find initial basic feasible solution of a transportation problem. Okay. Now what are the steps involved in this method? In the title, it is least cost or matrix minima. So that means the entire table we identify the cell with least cost. Okay. So the entire table identify the least cost cell. Then let it be suppose I comma j cell. That is origin I, destination j cell. That is row I, column j cell. So this is the least cost cell, suppose, in the entire table. Suppose there is a tie for the least cost, you can take arbitrarily anyone. So there is no rule to break the tie. Okay. As usual, for this cell, for this least cost cell, ij cell, the decision variable is xij. For that cell, the corresponding available amount is ai, and corresponding required amount is bj. So we take minimum of those two amounts. So xij equal to minimum of ai, bj. So the remaining part is same as in Vogel's approximation method. Okay. So the difference between these two methods is the starting point. So where we have to start the method. Okay. So that is the difference. In Vogel's approximation method, we find penalties for each row. That is difference of least cost and next to the least cost in each row as well as in each column. Among those penalties, we take the largest penalty. Suppose that largest penalty occur in row I, then in row I, we take the least cost cell. So that is the starting point for that method. Okay. So here in this method, the starting point is the least cost cell in the entire table. The least cost cell in the entire table. So this is the starting point to this method. So that is the difference between these two methods. And the remaining is as it is, same. Okay. So xij equal to minimum of ai, bj. As usual, we have three possibilities. If ai is less than bj, then minimum is ai. That means row constraint is satisfied, cross off row I. Another possibility, if ai is greater than bj, then minimum is bj. That is column constraint is satisfied, so cross off column j. Third possibility, if ai equal to bj, then xij equal to ai and bj. And in this case, we get degenerate solution. In this case, we get degenerate solution. So how do we resolve the degeneracy? We assign a small quantity epsilon, which is tends to 0, approximately 0, to the neighboring cell with the least cost, and then cross off row I as well as column j. In this case, the solution is degenerate. Okay. So all these three steps are same as in Vogel's approximation method. The difference is the starting cell, the starting point. Okay. Once after completion of step 3, we remove either row or column or both. Then we get reduced transportation table. Again, we repeat the same process for the reduced transportation table. So again, identify the least cost cell in the reduced transportation table and go to step 3. We will repeat this process until all constraints are satisfied. Okay. So this is another method to find initial basic feasible solution to a transportation problem. Okay. So if method is not mentioned to find initial basic feasible solution, it is better to use Vogel's approximation method. Since Vogel's approximation method gives a solution which is close or near to optimal solution. Okay. Write this problem. A company has 3 plants, A, B, C, and 3 warehouses XYZ, 3 warehouses XYZ. Stop. Number of units available at the plants is 60, 70, 80 respectively. Stop. Demands at warehouses. Demands at warehouses are 50, 80, 80 respectively. Stop. Unit costs of transportation are given in the following table. Write this table. Next, what would be the transportation plan? And give the minimum distribution cost. Okay, right. So there are 3 plants, A, B, C. So that is, these are origins. And 3 warehouses. Warehouses means destinations. Number of units available at plants are 60, 70, 80. At first plant 60, at second plant 70, at third plant 80. Okay. And demands at warehouses are 50, 80, 80. So 50 at first destination, first warehouse, 80 at second warehouse, 80 at third warehouse. And these are the transportation cost per 1 unit. These are transportation cost per 1 unit from plants to warehouses. So what would be the transportation plan? And what is minimum distribution cost? So clearly it is a transportation problem. Okay. So before going to solve, we have to verify whether it is balanced or unbalanced. Okay. First, find sum of available amounts. So what are available amounts? 60, 70, 80. So 60 plus 70 plus 80. Sigma AI equal 60 plus 70 plus 80. That is 210. Similarly, sum of required amounts or sum of demands. Demands at warehouses are 50, 80, 80. 50 plus 80 plus 80. This is also 210. So both are same. So sigma AI equals sigma Bj. The problem is balanced. If these two are not equal, we have to balance it. We will discuss later. So this problem is balanced transportation problem. Okay. So we can proceed. First, in the first step, we find initial basic feasible solution. Here I use least cost method. So next, initial basic feasible solution by least cost method. Take the table. So these are row suffixes, first row, second row, third row. These are column suffixes, first column, second column, third column. These are available amounts at origins. These are required amounts at destinations. These are unit transportation costs. In the last column, write available amounts. In the last row, write requirement amounts. So write in each cell, write the cost at so in each cell, write the cost northeast cell, northeast corner here. Okay. Right. So what is the first step here? Identify the least cost cell in the entire table. Identify the least cost cell in the entire table. Okay. So costs are these. So this entire table, what are least costs? 3 and 3 and 3. So the least cost cell is not unique. So there are 3 cells with least cost. So there is a tie for the selection. So arbitrarily you can take any one. Arbitrarily you can take any one. There is no rule to break the tie. So you can take this cell or this cell or this cell. Okay. So arbitrarily I take 3 2 cell. Arbitrarily I take this cell, 3 2 cell. Okay. Right. First step, least cost cell in the entire table. The least cost cell in the entire table equal 3 2 cell. For this decision variable, number of units, x32 equal x32 equal minimum of, for this cell, corresponding available amount 80 plus corresponding required amount 80. So minimum of 80 comma 80, so that is minimum 80. So write this in the 3 2 cell 80. Write 80 in the 3 2 cell and circle it. That means it represents basic cell. So here observe, both are same, available amount and required amount, both are same. So in this case we get degenerate solution. So the solution is degenerate. Since the corresponding available amount and corresponding required amount both are same, so in this case we get degenerate solution. How do you resolve this degeneracy? Consider the neighboring cells. So what are neighboring cells for this? This is neighboring cell and this is neighboring cell and this is neighboring cell. That is 2 2 cell, 3 3 1 cell and 3 3 cell. So these 3 are neighboring cells. Okay. So these 2 are not neighboring cells. This is not neighboring cell. This is not neighboring cell. Okay. So these 3 are neighboring cells. So in the neighboring cells, identify least cost cell. In the neighboring cells, identify least cost cell. So what is least cost cell in the neighboring cells? This is 5. 5 is least cost. Here cost is 8. Here cost is 11. So among these 3, least cost is 5. That is 3 3 cell. For this 3 3 cell, we assign a small quantity epsilon which tends to 0. Okay. Right. Next, neighboring cell with least cost. Neighboring cell with least cost equal 3 comma 3 cell. So assign x33 equal epsilon. Assign x33 equal epsilon. So write epsilon in 3 3 cell and circle it. Write epsilon in 3 3 cell and circle it. Now the third row constraint and second column constraint both are satisfied. Okay, since total available amounts at third origin are transported to second destination. Similarly, total required amounts are obtained from third origin. Okay, so that means row 3 and column 2 constraints are satisfied simultaneously. So cross off row 3 and column 2. Cross off row 3 and column 2. Circle those two row and column. So cross off row 3 and column 2. Okay. So this is the first step. Next, second step. Repeat the same process for the reduced transportation table. Now, what is reduced transportation table? We have to delete second column and third row. So the reduced transportation table is first column and third column. Next, first row and second row. This is the reduced transportation table. So repeat the same process for that. Okay. Again, in the reduced transportation table, what is the least cost cell? Again, least cost is 3 for 2 1 cell, for 1 3 cell. So here again, we get tie for least cost cell. So arbitrarily, you can take either 2 1 cell, either this cell or this cell. Okay, right. Second step, least cost cell in the remaining table equal to 1 3 cell. So arbitrarily, I take 1 3 cell. Arbitrarily, I take 1 3 cell. Okay, this cell. Arbitrarily, I take 1 3 cell. For this cell, number of units x13 equal to minimum of corresponding available amount 60 and corresponding required amount 80. So minimum of 60 80, that is 60. So write 60 in 1 3 cell. Write 60 in 1 3 cell and circle it. Right. Observe which constraint is satisfied. So here 60 not equal to 80. Okay. So which constraint is satisfied? So available amount is 60. So whole 60 units are transported to third destination. That means row constraint is satisfied. Okay. So cross off row 1. Cross off row 1. So circle row 1. So cross off row 1. That is circle row 1. Observe third column, third destination. At third destination, total required amount is 80 units. Out of 80, 60 are obtained from first origin. So remaining requirement is 80 minus 60, so 20. So here 80 minus 60, that is 20. So still remaining required amount is 20 units at third destination. Okay. Right. Now what is the reduced transportation table? We have only 2 cells, that is second row. The reduced transportation table is second row and first column, third column. Okay. So repeat the same process. Again, we have 2 cells only. Among these 2 cells, least cost cell is 3. Least cost is 3, that is 2 1 cell. Right. Least cost cell in the remaining table equal to 2 1 cell. So this is the least cost cell, 2 1 cell. For this number of units, x21 equal corresponding available amount 70 and corresponding required amount 50. So minimum of 50 70 or 70 50. So minimum is 50. So write 50 in 2 1 cell and circle it. So observe which constraint is satisfied. So here 50 units are required. So total 50 units are obtained from second origin. That means column constraint is satisfied. So cross off column 1. Column constraint is satisfied. So cross off column 1. So cross off column. Right. Observe at second origin. At second origin, total available amount 70. Out of 70 units, 50 units are transported. So still remaining available amount 70 minus 50, 20. right here cross 70 and write 20. 70 minus 50, 20. Out of 70, 50 units are transported. So remaining available amount is 20. Okay. So finally we have only one cell, that is 2, 3 cell. For this cell, available amount is 20 and required amount is 20. Okay. So both are same. So our calculation is right. Right. So remaining cell equal 2, 3 cell. So X23 called 20, 20, minimum of 20, 20, 20. Write 20 in 2, 3 cell and circle it. Okay, so finally, we left with one cell for which the corresponding available amount is same as corresponding required amount. So then only the process is correct. So here our calculation is right. Okay, right. All constraints are satisfied, right? The separate table. The initial basic feasible solution is write the table by, you need not write the last column, that is available amounts, and the last row, that is required amounts. You need not write this last row and last column. Leave those two and just take the solution. So this is the initial basic feasible solution by least cost method. Okay, right. Observe here, how many number of basic cells we have? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So actually, how many number of basic cells we need? M plus n minus 1. M is 3 plus 3, 6 minus 1, 5. So we need 5 basic cells. So here already we have 5 basic cells. Okay, right. So here observe, in the process, the first step we get degeneracy. Suppose we have not assigned this cell. Suppose we have not assigned this cell. Then how many number of basic cells we have? Only 4. So we require another basic cell. Okay. So in this position, it is some difficult to choose which cell. For that, epsilon is to be assigned. Okay. So wherever we get the corresponding available amount is same as the corresponding required amount, at that time we identify the neighboring cell with the least cost and assign to that cell a small quantity epsilon. Okay. You have to keep in mind this point. So now we get the degenerate solution here. Since one of the basic cells is 0, since epsilon means this tends to 0, approximately equal to 0. Okay. So one of the basic variables is 0. So this solution is degenerate basic feasible solution. So here we have a degenerate basic feasible solution. So this is initial basic feasible solution. Now we have to optimize this solution. So to optimize this solution, we use UV method or Modi method, already discussed in the previous class. So okay, so this is second part of the solution. So in first part, we find initial basic feasible solution. In the second part, we optimize that solution using a UV method or Modi method. Okay, right. So we optimize this solution by UV method. So what are the steps in the UV method? First, we find U values for rows. So calculate U values for rows. So for first row, right here U1 in the table. This is U1, second row U2, third row U3. Right here U values U1, U2, U3 for rows. Next, calculate V values for columns. Calculate V values for columns. Write in the table in the last row. For first column V1, for second column V2, for third column V3. So these are V values for columns. So what is the relation between these two variables? For a basic cell, I comma j, corresponding U value, Ui plus corresponding V value, Vj, equal cost of the cell, Cij. So this is the relation between U values and V values. Okay, right. So since here we have 5 basic cells, since we have 5 basic cells, so we have 5 relations and unknowns are 6. Okay, so difference is 1. So arbitrarily we can choose one unknown as some constant. Okay, so for that, identify the row or column with more basic cells. So observe in this table, column 3 contain more basic cells. Column 3 contain more basic cells. So 1, 2, 3, 3 basic cells. So arbitrarily I choose V3 equal 0. So take V3 equal 0. Take V3 equal 0. Okay. So then come in third column. So take this 3 cell. So take here V3 equals 0. So for 3 cell, so for this cell, for 3 cell, corresponding U value U3 plus V value V3 equal cos 5. So U3 plus V3 equal 5. So V3 known, substitute here V3 0 and U3 equal 5 minus 0, 5. So right here U3 5. Okay, like that we calculate other values. So remember here you have to take only basic cell. Okay. Next, take this cell 2 3 cell. Take this 2 3 cell. For this U2 plus V3 called 9. 2 3 cell U2 plus V3 equal cost of the cell 9. So we know V3, substitute V3 here 0. So U2 equal 9. So U2 equal 9. So right here U2 9. Next, consider this basic cell. Consider this basic cell 1 3 cell. So for 1 3 cell U1 plus V3 equal cost of the cell 3. Substitute V3 value, V3 is known 0. So U1 plus 0 equal 3, U1 equal 3 minus 0, 3. So U1 equal 3 right here. Okay. Right. Next, to find other values, to find V2. So V2 is unknown. In second column, this is a basic cell. This is a basic cell. For this cell, corresponding U value is known. So U3 plus V2 equal cost of the cell 3. Okay. So first I consider this. You can consider any cell. So I consider 2 1 cell. This cell. For this cell, U value known, that is U2 plus V1 equal cost of the cell 3. So U2 plus V1 equal 3. So here U2 is known. Substitute here 9. 9 plus V1 equal 3. So V1 equal 3 minus 9 minus 6. Right here minus 6. So V1 equal minus 6. Okay. Right. Now consider 3 2 cell. This cell. Consider this cell. So U3 known. U3 plus V2 equal cost of the cell 3. Substitute U3 5 plus V2 equal 3. So V2 equal 3 minus 5 minus 2. Right here minus 2. Okay. Right. So these are U values and V values. So here you may get different values. You may get different values of these by choosing another variable as arbitrary constant. Suppose if you take U1 equals 0 and star, you get a different set of values. Okay. So you don't bother about that. Similarly, in selecting least cost cell in the entire table, we have a type. Okay, so in that case, you get different answers, different initial basic feasible solution. Okay, in that case, you may get different initial basic feasible solutions. So you don't bother. Right. After finding u values and v values, so what is the next step? Find penalties. For a non-basic cell, you find penalty. So for non-basic cell I comma j, what is penalty? Pij called corresponding u value plus v value minus cost of the cell. So uy plus vj minus cij. So this is penalty. We have to calculate this for each non-basic cell. So what are non-basic cells other than these circle cells? Okay, so this is 1 1 cell. For 1 1 cell, P11 is called corresponding u value u1 plus corresponding v value v1 minus cost 8. Okay, so 3 minus 6 minus 8. So observe is my negative. So right here negative. Right here negative. Next, for 1 2 cell, 1 2 cell, u1 plus v2 minus cost 7. That is 3 minus 2 minus 7. Clearly it is negative. Right here negative. Next, for 2 2 cell, 2 2 cell, this cell corresponding u value u2 plus v2 minus cost 8. Okay, so 9 minus 2 minus 8. So 9 minus 10 minus 1, clearly it is negative. Right here negative. Next, for this 3 1 cell, corresponding u value u3 plus v1 minus cost 11. So 5 minus 6 minus 11. Clearly it is negative. Okay, so all penalties are calculated. Now verify the optimality condition. What is optimality condition? All Pij less than or equal 0. Observe here penalties for non-basic cells. This is negative. This is negative. This is negative. And this is negative. So all penalties are negative. So all Pij less than or equal 0. The optimal condition is satisfied. So present solution is an optimal solution. So optimal solution is we have to write the basic cells only. Okay, right. So what is first basic variable? x13 60. Next x21 50. Next x23 20. Next x32 80. So this is epsilon, that means this tends to 0. So you need not write x33. You need not write x33. Since epsilon tends to 0, very small quantity, so it becomes 0. Okay, so this is optimal solution. Okay, and what is minimum transportation cost? So take the product with unit cost transportation. Okay, so 3 into 60 here. Three into 60 here, plus 3 into 50 here. Here 9 into 20. Okay, so 3 into 60, 3 into 50, 9 into 20, 3 into 80. Okay, this is 750. So total minimum transportation cost is 750. and this is the transportation schedule. That means from first origin to third destination 60 units, from second origin to first destination 50 units, from second origin to third destination 20 units, from third origin to second destination 80 units. This is the transportation schedule, and the minimum transportation cost is 750 rupees. So this is the way to solve the transportation problem. Okay. So solving transportation problem means you have to do two parts. First part, finding initial basic feasible solution, and in second part, you have to optimize that initial basic feasible solution. So that is complete procedure to solve the transportation problem.